Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mountaineers Now postgame show presented by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Take me home to comfort and take me home. It is West Virginia with a 76-73 win over the number 25 ranked Texas Longhorns. A quick look at the numbers. Pat Suemnick, the surprise big star of the night for West Virginia, 16 points, 6 boards. He was all over the place on both ends. Kerr Kriisa, 14 points, 4 of 8 from 3. And for Texas, it was Dylan Dessou leading the way with 18 points. And this one, Texas Tech had 22 turnovers, just an absolute slop fest, really, for both teams in this one. 38 combined turnovers between the two. It took a while, Chris, for both offenses to really get going, but West Virginia was able to make enough shots, get enough stops, had some things go right there for them in the second half, and found a way to get a win.
Yeah, and you really got to credit their defense. I know we've kind of talked about all season long that defensive intensity hasn't been there, and
Yeah.
I think a lot of that credit can go to Pat. It's just kind of spreading right now through him. He's played with a lot of confidence as of late. He sets another career high again in points, and you got to just really be impressed at how big of a turnaround he's really made just since from the beginning of the year. So it's amazing what confidence can do to a player, and Pat's just one of those examples that he sees start to see the ball go in against some of these better big guys in the Big 12, and confidence goes through the roof, and he's shooting the ball with confidence, and kind of needs to work up on the free throws a little bit. 6 of 12. Kerr Kriisa mentioned it after the game jokingly while he sat next to him, but yeah, you got like what you saw today from West Virginia on the defensive end, and really the turnovers. Credit Texas defense for those, but offensively, I thought they play a lot better. They've been talking about passing the ball more and sharing the ball and swinging the ball around, and uh, they started listening and to kind of neutralize those double teams a little bit. So, really, you don't want to say it was a great, all-out game when you have 18 turnovers, but man, it was a lot more efficient on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, and I think they made an effort to get the ball to the basket a lot too. Obviously, that shows up in the 41 free throw attempts that they had. Like you said, they left a few out there at the charity stripe. But I mean, when you have Pat Sumnick have the game that he has, and then you have really Quinn Slazinski kind of had a quietly good game too. He had 13 points off the bench. He's another one that probably would like to have some free throws back, but I mean, it's a nice thing to see when you have 6, 7, 8 guys actually contributing and playing at a decent level, where before you really only had 5 or 6 guys. So, Eilert switched up the starting five once again. They threw in Kobe Johnson in there as well. He played 25 minutes, only had 5 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. So even though it wasn't an eye-popping night for him, Kobe still had a decent game. So what do you take away from this one more than anything? Is it just the outstanding performance by Sumnick? I mean, what is it that stands out that gives you hope as to next week being even better?
It looks like they're all finding their role. And then, if you take away what they did today and you add Jesse Edwards, the roles are still the same.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of fitting in with one another. You can tell Rick Bombadil doesn't feel that he has to do everything himself. He's trusting his teammates. Um, Same with Quinn. Quinn kind of is merging a bit, emerged again tonight, and probably is. I know he went 7 of 10 from free throw line, had 13 points, but probably that offensive rebound he had towards the end of the game to get back to the free throw line was huge. We talked about it multiple times. When shots aren't falling in, go get the ball. Give yourself more
Yeah.
opportunity. Teams are doing it against you. They out rebound them by one, and sure enough, that out rebound by one was on the offensive board, and that was Quinn Slazinski there towards the end of the game. So, hey, every rebound matters. I mean, give guys like maybe Raekwon or Kerr or whoever a second opportunity at the offensive end, you're going to have more success. So 10 offensive rebounds is a decent number. You'd like to see it get higher, but it really, stuff like that, it's the little things we've talked about. Get the loose balls, get those rebounds, fight for those rebounds. Let Josiah Harris knock the ball out. The Texas player that kind of left it hang out there off, he got a defensive rebound and knocked it loose and gave right back to West Virginia. So those stuff like that adds up, and when you do that, you end up knocking off a team like Texas that, talk about they have talent, just got to come together, got to do the little things, and everyone starts doing little things. You get wins like this.
I mean, Suemnick, just the way he's played in these last few games. I mean, it's incredible to see the turnaround, like you said. I mean, he was struggling kind of to gain his footing early on. I think he was trying to figure out what his role really was when they had Jesse Edwards. When Jesse comes back, that's the biggest question for me. Is I mean, Pat's playing so well right now. You don't want to pull him out of the starting five, but you also would like to have a backup center. So how would you go about handling that? Because you want your best five on the floor, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's not better than Jesse, but now Jesse doesn't have to play 35 minutes. So, I mean, it's extremely valuable. Now you can both probably get 22, 25 minutes out of both of them.
And you
And
can
when
move
Jesse's
Pat to
not
the floor.
exhausted,
That's his natural spot.
yeah, but you don't have enough for us is the
Right.
problem. So, you want to kind of keep it where you're rotating those guys in and out to give Jesse a break. You don't want Jesse playing 35 minutes again and get himself hurt again. He's probably not going to end up playing a lot of minutes when he comes back. They just pushed that timeline back as well. So, he's going to get plenty more opportunities. They're going to have a big challenge. It's Big 12. It's going to have challenges next week. Coaches are going to, and this is a great league for coaches. So now coaches are going to see Pat, how he's playing. So it's going to, have to start looking at Quinn or the other fours to kind of stretch it and clear that paint out and take advantage of those opportunities as well. So it's a starting point really for this group. Um, they still have a lot of things to work on. And as other teams, they try to take Kerr away, and they've kind of figured it out. So right now, we know that there's little room for error right now, so they're going to have to kind of figure it out quickly, and keep adding to it because it's definitely not going to get easier.
No, it's not. I mean, you look at the schedule, you got Oklahoma next week, ninth in the country. You got Kansas, who's third. And that's what I want to talk about now is like the Big 12 is so crazy. And it's like this every single year from top to bottom. You can never really predict who's going to win. I mean, we saw that today with West Virginia. We saw it with TCU beating Houston. Saw it a few days ago. Kansas beating or falling to UCF. I mean, it's unpredictable. And I think when we look back on this game, maybe a week from now, we may think about it a little bit differently. Maybe West Virginia is starting to figure things out and turn the corner. And all of a sudden, that's not a bad loss for Texas. And it's just a really good win for West Virginia. How much do you feel like this win can propel this team to actually turn that corner, get back to where they're hanging around the 500 mark? Because look, it's a tough schedule, but Oklahoma's lost two in a row. If you could go somehow out to Norman and steal one, you come back and you've got Kansas. And look, I get Kansas as a national championship contending team, but it's Morgantown. West Virginia's had worse, maybe not worse teams, but worse odds going into a Kansas game at home and found a way to win. The last year of Jermaine Haley is a perfect example of that. So I think there's a real opportunity that if they go to steal one in Norman, you got to feel like there's a chance they can get this thing turning.
Yeah, they're going to get a lot of effort from Oklahoma. Porter Moses is not gonna, it's not going to set well with him.
No,
And that
not at
team,
all.
they've lost two in a row, and that's a really good defensive minded team. They're one of the better defensive teams in the league that they have been under him. It's going to be a battle, and they're going to have to go out with the same effort. They haven't had a win like this year. They haven't had a lot of success. So how are they going to handle it? Are they going to be right back here at the Coliseum tomorrow working? Or are they
Yeah.
going to be working off at the celebration from tonight? So it's a long way to go. It's well deserved to celebrate. They busted a toe. They could have ducked and just kind of put up stats the rest of the season if they wanted to. They try to find ways to win, and they did it tonight. And that's right now. Just enjoy it. Don't think about Oklahoma. Just try to build on this one.
24-hour rule, right? So
Yeah,
we'll see what they do. Shout out to Josh Schuyler getting his first win over a top 25 team. I know he's been through obviously a hell of a lot this year. And if there's anyone that deserves a win like that, it's Josh Schuyler. And again, you look around at the Big 12, there's some teams that are really struggling too. Oklahoma State's down there struggling, UCF. I mean, there's a few others, but if this team just starts to figure things out a little bit, they get Jesse Edwards back, this team can make a run. Again, this is what we're talking about, not to put together a resume right now, but it's about getting to that point where you're playing your best basketball in March when you get to Kansas City, because that's really the only realistic chance that this team has to get to the NCAA tournament. So is to make a run in that conference championship. So we'll see what they can do here in the coming week. Again, they got number 9 Oklahoma on the road Wednesday at 8 o'clock. That will tip off on ESPN, and then they'll return back home a week from today to host number 3 Kansas at 4 o'clock, also on ESPN Plus. So that'll do it for us tonight on the Mountaineers Now postgame show. Again, West Virginia winners 76-73 over the Texas Longhorns. For Christopher Hall, I'm Schuyler Callihan. You've been watching the Mountaineers Now postgame show presented by Country Roads Air Duct Cleaning. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Mountaineers Now and give us a follow on X at the same handle. We'll see you guys here in a couple of days on Between the Years. Take care.